like kind of leathery, and it's so cool. I always have to take pictures with Batman, and when I see him on the streets for Halloween, I'm always like, it's Batman! You gotta scream at him, and then I turn around, oh my gosh, you knew who I was. No, duh, you're Batman. Everybody knows who you are. But, and then for females, I was really torn on picking a female superhero, because I know people that would be like, oh, she's gonna pick Wonder Woman, and I'm like, I feel like sometimes Wonder Woman's almost overdone, and some of the costumes that they sell for Wonder Woman really, I mean, it kind of like diminishes who Wonder Woman is for me, because they're like so cutesy little skirts, and like, it's almost like a pin-up look for Wonder Woman, and I feel like, oh, Wonder Woman would respect that. It has her character. So I had to choose between, I get really excited when I see Lady Deadpool. Have you ever seen a Lady Deadpool?
I think I've seen once, but not as much anymore, no.
Yeah, they're very rare, but when they do it, it's awesome. Of course, they have to do it right. The fashion show I was just in had a Lady Deadpool, and so Chicago Costume is selling like specific Lady Deadpool costumes, and it comes with the utility belt and the swords and all that cool stuff, and a little hole in the mask so that you can pull your ponytail through and have like a high ponytail and you can tell you're a female, but it's always really cute. But I also had to choose kind of a sexier version of Mystique. And if you can pull off all that body paint for Halloween and like make yourself look amazing as Mystique, I always had to give you props. So that's my number 4 superheroes. Love you guys. And I guess you could question whether or not Mystique and Lady Deadpool are a hero, but those are my choices.
Well, fuck. No, I'm kidding. My number 4 was actually the same thing, was actually superheroes and superheroines, because, again, pop culture, especially since I think so many of these superhero movies that have coming out, you think about Avengers, you think of course, Justice League is going to be building up quite a bit, Suicide Squad, you got, of course, Deadpool. So many of these different superheroes have come out, and of course, they're really emphasizing superheroines, although they have yet to make a Black Widow movie. Get on that, Marvel. It's one of those things that it's just good to have, something that the kids can really watch it and think like, oh man, this is cool. But it also brings out the child in so many adults, because it's like, this is what I grew up on. This is what I remember having that same excitement as a kid, and just thinking that, hey, this person's going to come and save the day, going to make it all better. Or, if your Deadpool is just like, oh, he's just going to be funny and hilarious and a bit of a smartass, but at the same time, it's Deadpool. He's awesome.
Yes, definitely.
All right.
I agree. I think that's funny. We both had number 4 superheroes.
Maybe it's fate, maybe it's destiny, maybe it's just a coincidence. Either way, it's still freaking awesome that we have the same one. So let's see how well you do with number 3.
All right, so number 3, I wanted to kind of do a homage to do it yourself. So costumes that are so simple but can be pulled off in the right way. And for males, I always think, and like you said, you have an obsession with peanuts. I do too. Male is Charlie Brown. And one of my good friends and directors, Wyatt Elliott, is a man that sometimes doesn't have hair on top of his head. So for Halloween or convention, he'll just throw on a yellow shirt, Sharpies on the design, and then Sharpies, and yes, I'm saying a Sharpie, but he uses a Sharpie on his forehead and does a little squiggle. And it's like the perfect Charlie Brown. Like, that's the easiest costume I think I've ever seen, like a person pull off. He just Sharpies a yellow shirt and his forehead, and he's Charlie Brown. And he looks exactly like Charlie Brown. And the amount of people that will come up and be like, oh my gosh, Charlie Brown, can I take a picture with you? Is amazing. And I always respect that, and it's so easy, and I feel like anybody can do it. You can go grab a shirt from Walmart or whatever for like $4, and then a Sharpie for like $2, and you're set. There you go. You don't even have to be bald if you don't want to, but if you're bald, boom, bonus.
There you go.
But, and for the female do-it-yourself, I always respect and love when people do Rosie the Riveter. And any style Rosie the Riveter. I've seen so many different takes upon Rosie, and it's just always amazing, and I always can tell, like, oh, it's Rosie the Riveter, it's so empowering, and I love that. Like, all you need is a bandana, and then you tie that bandana up, you put on that red lipstick and the great makeup, and you're like, boom, that's Rosie the Riveter, and they can wear jeans, they can wear anything. I've seen futuristic, like Rosie the Riveter, and it's just awesome and so simple, cheap costume that if you don't have the funds for Halloween and you're bald or you're a woman, I would try Charlie Brown or Rosie the Riveter. It's classic. People will respect it. Who cares if you don't have money? You can do it. Do it yourself.
Simple enough. All right, well, for my number 3, I think this is going to be a little bit of a shout out to my good friend Dedgar, who you are co-host with quite a few different things. And that being, of course, the vampire deal. Because honestly, you guys, as much as Twilight did kind of put a little bit of derailment on the vampire's credibility, no denying that vampires has definitely still left a major impact on so many people's hearts, as well as freaking out everybody because, well, let's face it, Count Dracula, so many different other vampires. Let's face it, vampires are cool no matter what. Unless we go into the Twilight thing, which again, pushing that off to the side. Minusing that, vampires are always flat out amazing. And yes, they may have some very simple, weaknesses. Atheists. Sorry, that kind of slipped out. They're still cool, and old school is always cool, and that's kind of where I'm going with my last 2, but I'll get into that in just a minute because I don't want to jump ahead too much. So, what do you think, vampires for number 3?
Awesome. I think that's great, and I love all the old, like we already talked about how much I love all the old London stuff, so when people can do the classics, and you just look amazing, and because it's a classic, so when people do werewolf, vampire, definitely. It's okay. Thumbs up from victory. Thumbs up.
Alright, so number 2.
Alright. Oh, the Dracula voice, too. Oh, no.
Well, I was going for actually Count from Sesame Street, but anyway.
Well, hey, I knew it was a vampire of some sort. But, alright, so I just did number 3, do it yourself. Kind of an easy, low budget costume. But number 2, I have to give it to people who decide to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a costume. And the costume I chose for my expensive, crazy people who decide to spend so much money to make an amazing costume. I love when people do Predator. And there are female and male Predators, so it's across the board Predator. And this costume, I've researched it, and some of them are over $2,000 that people spend on these costumes. And it's just to they bring joy, they bring amazing photos, and as you guys have probably seen, if you look up my Facebook or if you know Decker's Dark Coffin Classics, then we had a Predator, Patrick Salentine, who is the Wisconsin Predator, came on our show. And he was just tearing it up with this amazing costume that had lights, sound. It even had the gun was able to move around and point at you. It was just incredible. And like the mask came off and showed that crazy Predator look, and it was so realistic. I think it was latex. I'm not for sure what it was made out of, but I just know it's an amazing costume, and I gotta give it props. So. Number 2 is any Predators, female, male, I don't care. It's incredible. Damn. And if you choose to be that and put on all that, you deserve a pat on the back that I wouldn't touch your costume because it's too expensive for me to touch.
Well, I'll keep my number 2 short and sweet. Going with the Howling Werewolves. Because why? Werewolves are awesome. Boom. Got the mic. Done.
Nice.
Need I say more? All right.
No, you really don't have to. It works. Werewolves were awesome.
werewolves are freaking amazing. Like I said, that's all I need to say. All right, so with a few minutes remaining, we are down to number 1. Who you got, Tori?
All right, my number 1 is I chose 2016 best for number 1. And for male, this was so hard. It was so hard to pick a male, but I was just thinking throughout my time at convention this year, I think I saw the most amazing costumes from the Jokers. So I picked male awesome Jokers, and I don't mean by someone who just dresses up as Joker and walks around and is like, hi, hey, my name is Jam. No, it's somebody who really commits, and there's so many different Jokers out there now. I saw the classic Jack Nicholson. I saw Heath Ledger Jokers. I saw now, oh my goodness, why am I forgetting his name? The newest Joker.
Jared Leto.
Thank you, Jared Leto Joker. And they all do an amazing job. So I have to say 2015's best male are awesome Jokers that people come out and really creep me out and do an amazing paint job. And that leads me into the female. Again, I struggled hardcore on picking a number 1 costume of all time, but I decided to go with PopCon art look. So it's when people paint their bodies to actually look like pop culture art. So they put a lot of dots, they put a lot of animation within their body, and then they kind of look like a 1960s magazine. And it's amazing, and it literally looks like they're ripping out of a page of a magazine. And I love pop culture, so I love that look. And that would be, if you know how to do that type of paint job on your body, you already get total props from me. So that would be my best female.
All right, well, leaves that down to me. Number 1 greatest costume of all time, in my opinion. You know them as roamers, a.k.a. walkers, a.k.a. zombies, a.k.a. the undead, of course, because, geez Louise, you look at every single thing that they have done with everything from Walking Dead to, what was the other one? World War Z to Welcome to Zombieland. Everything that they've done, the makeup designs, the costume designs, everything that they have done with zombies has always just seemed to just evolve to that next level every single time. Holy cow. So there was no way that I was going to pass up, the zombies or walkers or roamers or the undead. Whatever you want to call them is flat out amazing. Costumes, great. Makeup, incredible. And they beat clowns in a heartbeat, so that's...
They would eat them.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But yeah, I gotta answer it. I love zombies too. I mean, the Edersons call them the infected instead of zombies. Infected. Ooh. And I mean, the victims, it's always extensive, and you gotta, again, you're kind of giving the homage to the makeup too. I definitely feel like when people know how to do makeup, it just adds to the costume. It just adds to the, the realism and the effect that a viewer gets. So I gotta say, if you can do that FX makeup on your face that looks like skin is falling off,
right?
Respect. Respect. Denison's zombies don't do that. Denison's are a little more cute, but yeah.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that has indeed been our top 10 list for costumes that we think are amazing, costumes that we think are flat out need to be done by this year. With just a few more seconds left of the show, thank you again, Tori, for being a part of the show. And you can always follow her at Victory Clark 04 on Twitter. Also, check out her Facebook page, Victoria Bell, as well as check out me on Twitter at Nate Effin Great. Be sure to also tune in on Monday when we do part 2 of our Halloween special edition. What will it be? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out and see what it is. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, for Victoria Bell, I am indeed Nate the Effin Great. Happy Halloween to you guys, and we will see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.